Hey guys, welcome back. So, last video we talked about beat, right? And we learned that beat is the steady and regular pulse that we hear in music. Remember, a beat, if it's a steady and regular pulse, it's not going to have a couple beats that are super quick. It's not going to have a couple beats thrown in them that are super slow. A beat is a steady and regular pulse. So here's an example of a beat that is steady and regular. If you listen to that, there's not a huge difference in the amount of time between each clap. I'm keeping a steady and regular pulse. Steady and regular meaning it's not changing, okay? So let's talk about that, how that applies to music moving forward. Today we're going to talk about something called note value. Now, what does note value mean? Well, first off, let's just talk about what does value mean. Okay? If I were to dig up an old coin, my first thought would be, I'm going to be a millionaire. I just found a Civil War era coin. Well, in all actuality, they're like, ma'am, that's a penny. It's worth 1 cent. I'm like, oh, cool. Anyway, if I did find an old coin, I'm going to take it to a coin expert to find out what the value of that coin is. Okay? I want to know how much is that coin worth. Okay? So the value of a coin is how much that coin is worth, right? So if value means how much something is worth, what does note value mean? Okay, value is how much something is worth. So note value is how many beats a note is worth. So basically how many beats a note gets when you're playing it in music or singing. Okay? So the largest note that we're going to use in this class is the whole note. A whole note is worth 4 beats, and it looks like this. It's basically just a circle. Okay, so if you're looking in music and you see something that looks like a circle like this, just a plain circle, nothing fancy, it's a whole note, and that means that you're going to hold or sing that note or play that note for 4 beats. Okay, so if I were to sing on do for 4 beats, it would be do. Did you count the 4 beats in that? Let's listen one more time. Do. 4 beats is a whole note. Now, a half note. Now, you can probably just do some basic math here and figure out that a half note is 2 beats. Okay, and it looks like this. It's almost like if you took a whole note and put like a flagpole on it. Okay? So a half note is 2 beats. Okay, so if I were going to sing a half note, if this is my beat, I'm going to hold it for 2 beats. So here it is on do. Do. You notice how I only sang for 2 of those claps or 2 of those beats. All right, moving on, we have our quarter note. Now the quarter note is just worth 1 beat. Okay, and it looks like if you were to take a half note, remember it's a circle with a flagpole on it, it's going to be colored in this time, and that's how you know it's a quarter note. Okay? So if I were going to sing a quarter note, I'm only going to sing for 1 beat. So here's my steady beat. Do. Do. Do you hear how I am singing? But I only hold that note out for 1 beat. All right? Next, we have an eighth note. Now, an eighth note is worth half a beat, which sounds a little bit crazy, but if you're doing something really slow, it's not actually that hard, okay? So here we have an eighth note. It's like if you had a quarter note, it's filled in and it's got that flagpole, but it's got a flag on it, okay? That's how you know it's an eighth note. Now, listen really carefully to tell that I'm only going to sing this eighth note for half of a beat. Okay, so here's our beat. Do, do. You hear how short that note is, especially in comparison to our whole note? All right, so here we are on a whole rest. Now, if a whole note is worth 4 beats, how much do you think a whole rest is going to be worth? Obviously, hopefully, a whole rest is worth 4 beats. So that means if a whole note means singing for 4 beats, a whole rest means resting or not singing for 4 beats. Okay? And the way you can remember what a whole rest is it looks like a hole in the ground, right? If this is the ground, here's the hole, okay? That's the best I can do. Now we have a half rest. Now remember, a half note is worth 2 beats, so a half rest is going to be worth 2 beats. And remember, a rest means you are resting or not singing or playing for 2 beats. Okay? And a half rest looks like a hat. Half, hat. They kind of sound similar. Again, it's the best I got. Okay, then we got a quarter rest. A quarter rest is for a quarter note is for how many beats? 1. Therefore, a quarter rest equals 1 beat. And the best way I can help you remember this is it kind of looks like a lightning bolt, okay? Like a really funky looking lightning bolt, or maybe just like a lightning bolt with a fancy font on it, but it's a lightning bolt, okay? Pretend. Then we got the 8th rest. Now, hopefully by now you can see the pattern and figure out that an 8th rest is worth half a beat, just like an 8th note is. And the best thing I can do to help you remember these is it looks like a fancy 7. You know, again, a 7 in a fancy font or something. I don't know. All right, so let's talk about pizza. I need you to put your big math brain on here so we can try to figure out an easier way to help you remember this. Now, if this makes no sense to you, and it's better for you to just memorize that a whole note is 4 beats and 8th rest is half a beat, if that works for you and you think that's how you're going to be able to remember this, go for it. That's fine by me. But if you need something to help you kind of understand how this works a little bit more, let's talk about pizza, okay? Here is a whole pizza. Okay, now remember this isn't a pizza that's already cut up into 8 pieces, okay? Let's say this is one of those personal pan pizzas you could get when you were a kid, like in a kid's meal pizza or something. It's got how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I were to eat this whole pizza, I would eat 4 pieces, right? Just like the whole pizza is 4 pieces, a whole note is 4 beats. Okay, so you're going to sing or play for 4 beats. All right? So how many pieces, if I wasn't super hungry, how many pieces would I be eating if I just eat half of this pizza? All right, we have 4 pieces total, so half of it would just be 2 pieces, right? A half note is 2 beats, just like half of this pizza is 2 pieces. Okay, now we've got 4 pieces here, but how many pieces would equal 1/4 of the pizza? Remember, 1/4 is 1 out of 4, so I would be eating 1 piece of pizza, just like a quarter note is 1 beat. All right? Now, this is where, like I said, you got to turn your big brain on, okay? How many pieces would equal 1/8 of the pizza, okay? Technically, if you were to split 1 piece in half, you could eat 1/8 of the pizza, okay? 1/8 of the pizza is half of a piece. An 8th note is half a beat. I really hope that this helps. I hope that doesn't confuse you. Like I said, if it does confuse you, just memorize, okay? That's how I learned it. But if the pizza and kind of fraction talk helps you, use it, okay? Remember that these videos are available for you to watch anytime you have any questions, okay? Do your best, make me proud, and remember always, always, always make sure that you are being kind. Bye, guys.